At the climax of the war between the forces of Rhaegar Targaryen and the rebels, led by Robert Baratheon, which has come to be known as Robert's Rebellion, the two met and clashed in the battle on the Trident. Both Rhaegar and Robert fought valiantly, but only one would end up leaving the Trident with their life. How did these two men, one a prince of Dragonstone and the heir to the Iron Throne, the other the son of the Lord of the Stormlands, find themselves fighting to the death, in which one of them would emerge as protector of the realm and king of the Seven Kingdoms? Before discussing the battle on the Trident, it is important to know the circumstances that led to Robert's rebellion, and ultimately this meeting at the shallows of the ford on the Trident. Late in the year 280 AC, a tournament was announced by Walter Went, the Lord of Harrenhal. Lord Went was offering prizes 3 times as large as those given at the previous Great King's Landing tournament, organized by Lord Tywin Lannister, in celebration of King Aerys' 10th year upon the throne. Some say that it was Rhaegar himself who provided Lord Went with the means to offer such extravagant prizes, largely coming in the form of gold. It is also said that Rhaegar wanted to attract all of the great lords of the realm, in order to discuss the removal of his father as king. For 7 days, the best knights and lords of all the 7 kingdoms competed with lance and sword in the fields found below the large walls of Harrenhal. At the end, it was Prince Rhaegar who emerged as the winner of the competition. He normally did not compete in these types of events, but surprised all those in attendance by defeating everyone he was matched up against, including 4 knights of the Kingsguard. In his final battle, Rhaegar defeated Sir Barristan Selmy, thought to be the finest lance in the entire 7 kingdoms, as well as the Sword of the Morning, Sir Arthur Dayne, to win the championship. After his victory, the Prince of Dragonstone took the Winter Rose crown for the Queen of Love and Beauty, and so named Lyanna Stark, daughter of the Lord of Winterfell, by placing the garland of blue roses in her lap with the tip of his lance, passing over his wife, Princess Elia of Dorne. Lyanna's brothers were livid at the honor the Prince of Dragonstone bestowed upon her. Brandon Stark, her older brother, had to be restrained from confronting Rhaegar, as he took this as a slight to her honor, since she had been betrothed to Robert Baratheon. Eddard Stark was not pleased as well. Later, Eddard recalled that at this moment was when all the smiles died. Robert himself laughed at Rhaegar's actions, claiming that he had only paid Lyanna her due. However, this story is important as those closest to Robert, and those who knew him best, say that the young Lord of Storm's End brooded on this insult, and that his heart hardened and his hate emerged for Rhaegar from that day forward. A year later, Rhaegar set out on a journey that would eventually lead him back to the Riverlands. Close to Harrenhal, Rhaegar kidnapped Lyanna of Winterfell and carried her off, lighting a fire that would consume his house, kin, and all those he loved. It is unknown the reasons why he abducted Lyanna, but what was known was that it would have grave consequences to the future of his reign, family, and the realm. Rhaegar's infamous abduction of Lyanna was the ruin of House Targaryen. Fighting spread across the 7 kingdoms, with lords and knights choosing sides. Robert Baratheon proved himself to be a fearless and great leader, as well as an indomitable warrior. More and more men flocked to his banner, choosing to fight on his side with other rebels. Robert's rebellion was now far underway. Robert was the first one over the walls at Gulltown, when Lord Grafton raised his banners for the Targaryens. Robert went on to take victories at Summerhall, winning 3 battles in only 1 day. Robert went on to win further battles, defeating Lord Grandison and Lord Catherine. He also went on to kill Lord Fell in single combat, before taking his son Silveraxe captive following the battle. The victories for Robert continued as he marched with Jon Arryn's forces and the other Northmen. Robert's famed grand victory came at Stony Sept, also known as the Battle of the Bells, where he killed the famous Sir Miles Mouton, who was once Rhaegar's squire, and 5 other men beside him. This victory sealed the entry of the Riverlands into the conflict, after the marriage of Lord Tully's daughters to Lords Arryn and Stark. The Targaryens were now fully aware that Robert was a legitimate threat to their throne. Rhaegar's loyalist forces were reeling and beginning to scatter. Rhaegar himself returned from the south to command the new levies that were raised from the Crown lands. In defense of Princess Elia, Some 10,000 spears came over the Boneway, marching to King's Landing to increase the force that Rhaegar was now raising. It was now time for Rhaegar to march up the King's Road to the Trident. He was followed by all but one member of the Kingsguard, Sir Jaime Lannister, who had remained in King's Landing. This included Sir Barristan the Bold, Sir Jonathan Darry, and Prince Lewin of Dorne. Rhaegar's forces met Robert's at the Trident, later called the Ruby Ford. The two sides were well matched. Rhaegar's forces numbered about 40,000, a tenth of which were anointed knights. 30,000 of these men came from the Crownlands, the Reach, the Riverlands, the Stormlands, and the Vale. It also included about 10,000 Dornishmen. Commanders Rhaegar, Prince Lewin Martell, Sir Barristan Selmy, and Sir Jonathan Darry led the charge against Robert's rebels, which numbered less than 40,000, but were well tested in battle. Robert commanded his forces, along with Lord Eddard Stark, Lord Jon Arryn, and Lord Hoster Tully. The battle at the Trident was fierce by all accounts, and many lives were lost. The Dornishmen, under the command of Prince Martell, attacked and threatened Robert's left flank. Sir Lyn Corbray, fighting for Robert, led the attack that broke the Dornishmen's lines. It was during this charge when Lyn finds himself face to face with Lewin. At this moment, Lewin, who was already injured from the battle, is killed by Lyn, as Lyn picked up his father's sword, Lady Forlon, to deliver the final blow. Sir Barristan Selmy fought courageously during the battle, killing several men. Lord Jason Mallister was able to kill 3 of Rhaegar's bannermen, avenging the death of his brother, Joffrey Mallister. As the deadly battle went on, Robert joined the fighting himself, and eventually met Rhaegar in single combat on horseback. They met amidst the shadows of the ford. Both knights, Rhaegar and Robert, fought valiantly at the ford that day. Rhaegar Targaryen was no coward, and fought bravely against the large and fearsome Robert Baratheon. During the course of the battle, Robert was wounded by the prince, but Robert's strength and desire to avenge the shame brought upon Lyanna proved to be too much for Rhaegar to overcome, and walk away with his life. In a blow that decided the battle, Robert's warhammer found its mark as he drove the spike through Rhaegar's chest. The blow was so hard that the rubies from Rhaegar's armored chestplate scattered and fell into the river. Some men on both sides stopped fighting at once, and leaped into the river to recover these precious stones. After the final blow landed against Rhaegar, the Loyalists stopped their fighting and fled the field. Robert's wounds at the hands of Rhaegar prevented him from pursuing the fleeing Loyalists, so he gave the orders to Eddard Stark to do so. Robert also showed his chivalry at this time, refusing to allow Sir Barristan to be killed. Sir Barristan was gravely wounded during this hard fight. Instead, Robert sent his personal maester to tend to his wounds, saving his life. This act of mercifulness won Robert the fierce devotion of his friends and allies, a devotion that would prove to be important for the future king of the Seven Kingdoms. The battle on the Trident was an important battle that determined the outcome of the war. After Robert's victory, the Freys decided to join Robert's side. The path to King's Landing was now open for the rebels, as the remaining Loyalist force of significance was busied with a siege in Storm's End. As well, commanders Lewin Martell and Jonathan Darry were killed. And, most importantly, so was Rhaegar Targaryen. Robert won the battle and eventually the war. His reign would end the long line of Targaryen kings, and greatly affect the history of Westeros. Both Robert and Rhaegar fought bravely on the Trident, with Robert's thirst for revenge and battle-tested forces proving to be too much for Rhaegar and the Loyalists to overcome. Thank you for watching the video. If you liked it, please leave a like or leave a comment in the comment section below. As well, please subscribe for more Game of Thrones discussions and theories in the near future. Thanks again for watching.